Welcome into the PHNX Suns pregame show brought to you by the DraftKings
You're just
Sportsbook
ready
app.
for this to be over already,
Man,
aren't
I
you?
was like, what is this? Is this a pregame? Is it a postgame? Is it a podcast? I can't even remember at this point. It is the PHNX Suns pregame show brought to you by our friends at the DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top rated sportsbook app. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that you know whenever we are live. I'm Lindsey Smith. That's Espo. It's just the two of us holding it down on the pregame show. Saul should be joining us for the postgame show. And of course, Gerald is at the Footprint Center. Hopefully, he will join us as well in the postgame show with some updates from Coach Monty and the players. Espo, how you doing?
I'm good. I went and got a massage today. I'm just living the life. Now I'm sitting in a
Lucky.
walk-in closet. So, it's everything I've always when I said I want to become an adult, I said work out of a walk-in closet, get massages. So, living the dream.
I mean, honestly, those are goals. Like, you just got to keep it simple sometimes. The more simple you keep things in life, the better it seems. So, massages and working from home in a walk-in closet ain't too bad.
No complaints. So,
Well, tonight, it's the Phoenix Suns and the Orlando Magic. The Suns, of course, are coming off of a really big win over the Bucks just a few nights ago. But the Magic, on the other hand, they played in Utah last night. They fell to the Jazz 114-99. They're probably going to have some pretty heavy legs coming into this one, and they're going to be facing a juggernaut of a Suns team tonight. So, kind of feel bad for them. It's a tough one for them.
that's everything we got for tonight. Ahoy, hoy! No, look.
But for
The
real
Magic.
though, it's the Magic, it's the Suns. Like, what do you want me to say?
just wait till we get to DraftKings, all right? That'll tell you everything you need to know as well for tonight's game. Look, this is a Suns team that is going to get a lift because Torrey Craig and Aaron Holiday are in the building. Should both play tonight. Should maybe even play decent minutes because this shouldn't be an overly competitive game this evening. The Magic are not a very good team. As long as the Suns keep focus and they don't, as we say on the show an awful lot, play with their food, this should be a simple night for the Phoenix Suns. Play your game, get the win, get out of Dodge. So
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I feel like you couldn't have picked a better team to really have as your opponent for introducing Aaron Holiday and Torrey Craig into the lineups, right? And like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to the Magic by any means, but when you're talking about the Magic and the Suns, it's two totally different ball games. And with a little bit of an easier opponent, it allows for them to kind of learn on the fly. And if mistakes are made, it's easier to course correct against a team like the Magic than some tougher opponents in the league. So it gives them a little bit of leeway to go out there and make some mistakes and learn trial by fire, right?
yeah, let me just say it this way. I'll disrespect the Magic. The Magic are the Florida of NBA teams. All right, that's what you need to know right now. All right, you hear a story that things are going sideways in the NBA. You go, oh, the Magic. All right, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to be disrespectful. They're just not a good basketball team. They're a bit of a mess. The Suns are a significantly better basketball team. If this is a close game, you will color me extremely surprised, and I will be extremely disheartened during the post-game show.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like maybe we can say it because we've been there. So it's kind of one of those things like I can say it because I'm the same at one point in time, right?
Yeah,
A
I'd say it
little bit
even if we
easier.
hadn't been in the last decade. They're a dumpster fire, all right? Like, it's not a good basketball franchise right now, and that's okay. And I apologize to all the Suns fans from Florida like Justin I think it's just Justin tonight in there saying, "Hey, I'm a Florida Suns fan," and I know there's a handful of them. I apologize for calling your state the state version of the Magic, but we all know it's true. So,
Yeah. I mean, yeah, sorry. Long
Lindsay's
John
like,
Silver.
I'm not taking that bait. Yeah, I'll say it. Yeah, they
Just
suck.
like it. Well, Long John Silver said, "We love letting sorry teams hang in there." I think that was truer last year than it is this year. which has been a really big positive in the growth area for this team, because I do feel like we saw that a little bit more last year than we have seen this year. But yes, I feel like they could have put teams away a lot earlier this season. But like Espo said, it seems to be that they enjoy kind of playing with their food a little bit.
Yeah, usually through 3 quarters, they let kind of sorry teams hang around a little bit more than they should. But I'm still convinced that this team conserves its energy in some ways through 3 quarters, because they know that they can, and that they know we'll flip that switch, and within 6 minutes to go in that fourth, we'll have pushed that lead and it'll be fine. Like, I feel like they're pacing themselves without using load management in a lot of cases. And I'm fine with that when you're 45-10. So
yeah, for sure. All right, we'll talk a little bit more about Aaron and Tori here in just a second, but before we do that, let's just quickly take a look at the injury report for tonight's game so we can kind of get an idea of what we're working with here. So on the Phoenix Suns side, same as it has been for quite a few games now. Landry Shamet, Cam Payne, most notable. Frank Dario still on that. And then on the Magic side, they're going to be without Bol, Markelle Fultz, RJ Hampton, Jonathan Isaac, and Moritz Wagner. So quite a handful of people over on their injury report list, but it's just the nature of this season in the NBA.
You could have told me at least 2 of those names on that list for the Magic were fake, and I would have went, yeah, probably. Like, that's it's an interesting roster. Justin saying no offense taken for making fun of Florida. I'm glad, because I wasn't going to take it back even if offense was taken. Long John Silver, no timetable on Frank yet, but James Jones on Arizona Sports did not say that he was out for the year, like he did confirm for Dario Saric. So we probably can expect Frank back at some point, probably just in time to play the last 2 games of the season, drop 30 in one of them, and force me to get a tattoo.
Man, we really need a Frank Kaminsky 30-point game. Like, we really need it to happen, because I would love nothing more than to see you get some sort of a Frank Kaminsky Cove whatever tattoo. It would be so funny.
I decided that I will have my daughter. My daughter draws a very specific, has a very specific way of drawing basketballs. So I'm gonna have one of those with Frank's number in it, or Cove Crazies in it, if I have to get this tattoo. So at least
that's a cute idea.
A little nice way to go about it as well.
Yeah, so I like that. I think that'll be super fun.
Fabio says Nader finally not on the injury report. Amazing what happens when you get him. So
bye. I feel bad for him.
Uses Walmart, Devin Booker.
It's what is that TikTok? And then you're out. Okay, so now that we've got the injury report kind of out of the way, let's go back to Aaron Holiday and Torrey Craig a little bit. So we'll start with some sound from them from this morning's shoot around, and then we'll dive into a little bit more of what came out of them. Let's start with Aaron Holiday. This was from this morning's shoot around, talking about being teammates with the point guard, Chris Paul.
Probably the best point guard to ever play the game. So me coming in, that's somebody I'm obviously going to sit by and learn from. It's a blessing, honestly. I get to go to work with him every day and pretty much pick his brain. But, yeah, I mean, I just try to go out and play hard, and especially on defense, try to frustrate guys, not have them touch the ball and stuff.
So, yeah, I mean, he's super excited to play with Chris Paul. How could you not be? He gets to pick his brain for the remainder of the season and hopefully learn a lot from him. That he said, one of the things he said was when he got the call from his general manager that he was being traded to the Suns, he was pretty excited, to be honest with you. And I mean, I'm sure he would say that even if he wasn't excited, but I can imagine that this one was pretty genuine. Not only are you coming to a winning franchise, a team that is a contender, but also has Chris Paul on it, like somebody who could be so huge for your career and the longevity that you want to have within this game. Because if you can learn some of the secrets about how to just master this craft like Chris Paul has, man, what an opportunity for that kid.
Let's be quite frank. He was also sitting in Washington in the snow, dealing with a shitty basketball team. When you said we had sound from from him about how he felt. I just thought it was going to be woohoo! Like it was just that was all we were going to hear, because I would be damn happy no longer to be part of the Wizards. And then you add on top of it, like you're saying, and like you was talking about, getting to play with Chris Paul as well.
Mhm.
I mean, this kid is a ball hawk on defense. He's going to learn so much just on that side of the ball from Chris Paul, and then what we've seen Chris Paul be able to do for a lot of guys. Man, I'm excited to see if he can help, make this guy take the next step in his career.
Yeah. I think one of the things for Aaron is that he's going to have a little bit more of a challenge in kind of just fitting in with this squad and learning the terminology. I know they both talked about it at shoot around this morning. Monty talked about it during his press conference. It's probably going to take, they kind of threw out a number of 3 to 4 weeks maybe to really fully grasp everything that this team is implementing and the way that they communicate and just their verbiage. You know what I mean? So he's going to probably take a little bit longer than Torrey Craig, because Monty said they don't really change a lot year to year. They add on a bunch. And according to Monty and some of the players he's spoken to, they have a ton of just stuff that they have behind the scenes compared to other teams. But the verbiage itself doesn't really change too much. So Torrey's got a leg up on Aaron in that respect. But both of them said the best part about this team is that everyone is communicating. You're not just hearing it from the coaching staff. You're hearing it from the coaching staff and your teammates. So it helps you kind of pick it up and master that a little bit quicker.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough for a point guard too to come in mid-season, a guy that's going to have to handle the ball, get them in a lot of sets, those kind of things. So even if they both were coming in fresh to this organization, it would have been a little bit tougher for Aaron Holiday to pick up on things than it would. But Torrey Craig obviously has that foundation. But look, who was it in the chat? Let's look here for a second. Vince says that boy's a dog, and I'm supposed to go roof, roof. I love that that's become a thing on the program. Saul's not here to cringe, so it's a little less fun. But I agree.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, honestly, I feel like anything that like gives Saul the whatever, or Saul doesn't like it, becomes a thing.
Well, it's good. That means the people like it,
We
because
just
Saul
like
doesn't.
poking
So
fun at Saul.
that's my full barometer on this whole thing that we're doing at PHNX. If Saul bristles a little bit, I go, all right, I'm gonna keep doing that. Let's see how it
Yep.
plays. So
Anyway, continue. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you mid-thought.
no, I agree, though. Aaron Holiday is one of those guys that just is going to work his ass off. Has the right mentality for this team, and I'm excited to see what he's able to do defensively. Right, Plus, if you get a rematch with the Bucks in the finals, he kind of knows their point guard pretty well. So I'm not I'm not sad about that. We'll get a guy with a little insight into the
maybe
into the Bucks stuff.
I feel like he won't share. Who was it? Somebody said there has to be a rule that he won't share anything with his brother or with his with his brothers. I can't find it in the chat now, but I feel like if anything, he'll be able to share some nuggets of information about his brothers with the Suns. Hopefully, if that ever becomes something we may need. But he did say that, when the Suns and the Bucks were playing in the finals last year, I think he said that he came to a game here in Phoenix and 2 in Milwaukee. So he's pretty familiar, at least with watching this team.
Even if he doesn't know a lot about the Bucks system, he knows what gets under his brother's skin. So that's always fun.
Exactly. Sometimes it's just a little bit of trash talk. It's all you need to get somebody riled up. Let's get it. All right. And then, of course, for Torrey Craig, a familiar face on this team, he said that once the news kind of broke, he got a FaceTime call from, I believe it was Devin, CP, and Jay, all FaceTimed him together on a little group chat to say hello and officially welcome him back to the team. I think my favorite part about having Torrey Craig rejoin this team is how everybody in that locker room has kind of spoken about him and how they missed him in the locker room, how he came over a few weeks back during the game to say hello to them and just chop it up. And they all really seem to like him and vice versa. He likes this team. So that's just such a huge kind of like one of those, you don't see it on the box score kind of things, right? Like it makes it so much easier for him to rejoin this team.
Yeah. And they genuinely like Torrey, which, that just adds to it. He knows
Mhm.
the potential of this roster. And we saw, he said, I don't know how my role is going to be different this year than it was last year, but you're going to get defense and rebounding from me. And
Yeah.
I love that mindset. He's just like, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to do the little things. And those little things added to big value for the Suns last year.
Yeah, he said those are the non-negotiables. So no matter what, he's going to bring those night in and night out. So here's a little bit of sound from Torrey Craig from this morning talking about that relationship that just don't quit.
Money, man, because me and Monday was having a phone conversation the other day, and he's like, we're like a marriage, like we can't get away from each other. I think this is like the third time that we've been in contact and trying to come here, and something happens, and now this happened, I come back. So it's crazy how things happen full circle.
So, I mean, we talked about going back to your ex. I felt a little, I don't know that I liked that one. You talked about Ross and Rachel and Friends. I kind of like the marriage that just refuses to give up on one another, the best way to describe it.
Hold on, though. How does this marriage thing play out, though? He was with someone else. So what kind of marriages have Torrey Craig been in?
Fair.
This wasn't like I flirted with somebody else and I came back. I was full-fledged in another city with someone else, and the marriage came back somehow. I don't understand this view of marriage that Torrey Craig has.
It was like, you guys separated, you agreed to see other people, but like low key see other people, but you were working on it still. I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to make it sound better than it is.
Maybe it's just an open marriage. I don't know. Torrey Craig's in an open marriage with the Suns. I don't know. I just think it's a little flawed with the view. Plus, he slummed it. He went to Indiana of all places, the Florida of the Midwest, and was there. So I don't know. I just don't know about this marriage.
Vince and Josh says they were on a break, Espo. It doesn't count. And then Hello said the Pacers were just a one-night stand. It was a one-time mistake. They've agreed to apologize and move on.
A 5-month one-night stand.
We're trying our best here. We're trying our best here to spin this nicely. But one thing that Vince did say in the comment was, man, he looks and sounds so happy to be back. And I agree. And it's just got to be such a good feeling for him to know that we talked about this before, but to know that this team wants him and values what he brings to the table. And also, again, same thing with Aaron, you're leaving a situation where you're not in contention for a championship and you're joining a situation where you're kind of the front runners in that conversation right now.
Hello says the Pacers are freaky, Espo. I don't think so in Indiana. I can't imagine so. Maybe. But he has to be over the moon because not only did he get the money he wanted, but now he gets to be back in the situation he wanted, and he gets to tell James Jones, told you.
Yeah.
Told you I was worth this. Maybe
I did hear some news that the Suns did want to sign him in the offseason, but there was it just didn't time-wise, it didn't work out because they were working on the JaVale deal. And then Torrey was able to get this money from the Pacers, so obviously he didn't want to give that up. But the Suns were actively wanting to bring him back. It just kind of didn't line up time-wise.
So the Suns wanted JaVale and got in that marriage. Well, Torrey went to Indiana. This is going to be one weird locker room. It's going to,
now this is the open relationship part, right? The Suns had to marry JaVale, and then they brought in Torrey. This is such.
We need to spice it up, JaVale. You're not weird enough. We need to bring Torrey into this situation. I love how this show goes off the rails completely. Thanks to
usually it's Saul who does it. I feel like, but you and I are on a roll tonight.
Hey, you're the one that tried to actually make his analogy work. So
I tried.
This is on you.
It is. Metal Mike said, "I think Jones always knew he would be back." That would be. I think James Jones is a mastermind, but if he knew from the beginning of this whole situation that Torrey Craig was going to come back, I need to know what crystal ball he's got and where to get one.
he's like, look, we're gonna let you sign in Indiana, then we're gonna decline Jalen Smith's option, and we're gonna bring you back for him in a second round pick. You'll get your money, we'll get JaVale, it'll all work out great. That's why they call him
Right.
champ. He knows everything.
Okay, so I have a question for you. With these two new faces on this team, where do you think, how do you think their minutes kind of situation is going to play out? Who maybe can share some minutes or who might not see as many minutes? What are you thinking?
Elfrid Payton's ass isn't getting off the bench. I mean, I think that's pretty clear. You know,
Do
it's
you
gonna.
think even tonight they'd start with Aaron
I,
tonight?
depending on what situation you're in this game, yeah, I would. It's tough because right now without campaign, uh,
Mhm.
you have to rely very much on Elfrid or Aaron. I don't know that game one you're going to go straight to Aaron Holiday. I'm not
Yeah.
sure. We'll see. Monty's done weirder things in the past, and if they really want to indoctrinate him, it's baptism by fire. Throw him in there. You might see him, and we may not see Elfrid over time. Eventually, we will not see Elfrid Payton anymore on this. Torrey Craig, a different beast. It's going to depend on matchups. I mean, you could see him play small ball 5 tonight,
Mhm.
depending on what these lineups look like. He may eat into some of Jay's minutes if Jay's not shooting well because he replicates the defense and the edge that you get from Jay, but maybe he's hitting his shots on one night. I don't know. That's Monty is unique with his rotations and is not afraid to play the hot hand. So I don't see him taking Cam's minutes, Cam Johnson, because
No.
Cam's been playing so well. Same with McHale. So you're not going to see it there. It's
But
Jay's
McHale
oh,
does
like you said.
log quite a few minutes. So I
You,
wouldn't even be that mad if McHale could come down a handful of minutes just for the sake of his body
yeah,
and his mind.
that's fair. Obviously, Torrey's going to get any of those minutes that you were seeing Jalen Smith, or the minutes that last game you saw Da and JaVale on the court at the same time, which was it was like a Jackson Pollock painting. Some people like it, some people don't. I was one of those in that situation. I did not like what I was seeing because they both were just running into each other. It
Yeah,
was
like they
very
almost,
weird. So I think you'll see Torrey Craig take those kind of minutes too.
to be fair though, wasn't that the first time, was that the first time we've seen that this season?
Oh,
So
yeah,
they
I'm
don't
not.
know, they don't have the chemistry there yet, or just kind of like understanding. So
Well, I don't blame him. It was out of necessity because you didn't have Jalen to play those minutes. You didn't really have other options. So it was let's try this and see.
yeah.
And we saw, and we don't need to see again. So Torrey Craig can play those minutes.
So Fabio in the chat said, I think Jay might get less minutes so he can recover better from the left wrist thing. I'm a big fan of taking some minutes from Jay, not because of his play, but because he's already expressed at the beginning of the season that he had some mental fatigue. Obviously, the wrist injury, he's kind of playing through that. It didn't get to heal to 100% before he came back. I think that would be really beneficial for Jay overall, basketball, mental, you name it. So I would like to see that a little bit, just because again, I think that would do wonders for Jay. And then Blaze said, we're playing the Magic. I think we may see Holiday when we're up by 35. And then Sean said, I think you have to incorporate them these next 3 games, maybe less against the Clippers, but Orlando and Houston, question mark. I agree. The more time that they can get in, especially against opponents that maybe aren't as hard of a challenge for the Suns, the better. The more you can just get them some reps with this team before we get into the thick of it with the playoffs, like you got to do what you got to do to get those guys caught up to speed.
Agree. You brought him in here to be a part of things. There's no better time than to get them indoctrinated, let them make some mistakes early on if necessary, especially in Holiday's case. I say, yeah, let it let it fly in these next few games. By the way, Blaze says another good metaphor there, Espo. Another fine metaphor there, Espo. And Jackson Pollock, you sound educated, Espo.
Fabio said, "Who's Jackson Pollock? Is he on the bio market? Can we sign him?" I love
let me say
that.
this. The Jackson Pollock reference was actually because of my 5-year-old who was learning about it at school. I'm not educated. She is. So let's keep that in mind. And I don't know if Jackson Pollock can play any defense at the wing, but we can find out. I'm pretty sure he's dead, but we've had stiffs on the roster before, so we can look.
Oh
look
my
in.
gosh. Brittany said Tori and Holiday just got introduced to the McGee hype dog pound, laughing, cry face emoji. I need to see that video. Can you tweet it to me, please? Because I want to see.
Do we like the whole dog pound or the dogs? Like, do we want to embrace that as a nickname for these guys?
Well, who was it started by the players?
Yeah, I think it was JaVale that kind of started.
Then yeah, absolutely. We got to lean into it.
I mean, I've been barking like a madman anyway, so maybe we do just embrace it. And now I have another excuse to really just hurt people with it.
I mean, I think if the players started it, then 100% we have to embrace it and lean into it, because if they're bought in, we got to just buy in, because they're the leaders of this whole situation, right? So I think
Saul
that's
just
fair.
showed up to say no.
Do it again, Espo, one more time, just so Saul leaves.
Somebody wanted a chihuahua. Let's see what I can do. You got that too. So I can do all. I got dogs for days. All right, and much like the Suns roster.
Oh my gosh,
dogs
that's fantastic. All right, so we've got just a few minutes before this one tips off. So let's see what our friends over at DraftKings think about tonight's matchup. Break it down for us, Espo.
This is what we call a football game spread. It's a 16.5 point spread here. So yeah, they like the Suns tonight.
Yeah, how could you not? All right, and let's take a look at what we chose for what we think the outcome of tonight's game will be. So I went a little bit conservative tonight. I have Suns by 8. The reason why I picked this is because in my mind, how this plays out is majority of our starters are out of this game by midway through the third quarter, and we let the new guys log a whole bunch of minutes and the bench kind of come in and finish this one for us.
I could see that. I just feel it's going to be a foot to the gas the whole night from everybody on this roster. So give me Suns by 18. Gerald's in the same boat as me. Suns by 15. Saul says Suns by 1971. Any guesses, Lindsey? I already know. So
no, 1971. I have no idea.
It's Orlando related. And Saul related as well.
When they started letting people get married at Disney World?
No, it's actually when Disney World opened, but close.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I figured it would have been there longer than that.
Nope. Actual Disneyland opened in 1955 and 1971 when Disney World showed up. So You've been a little bit more educated about the fine place that
you learn something new every day.
Yes.
Hello, they. I don't know. Hello, they got
Angel.
It. Yes, the Angel. Hello, got that one right. Blaze Megatron has Suns by 20 plus. Metal Mike Suns by 15. Vince Suns by 12. Sean said, "Beat the Bucks by 24, Lindsey." But I agree with your rationale, kinda.
Manuel says,
"Get what I'm saying."
Suns by the distance in inches between Phoenix and Orlando. So Manuel apparently thinks that Orlando is in somewhere in Tempe, based on that.
Tempe, Espo.
Tempe.
Tempe.
Fancy, yes.
It's bougie these days, apparently.
By the way, did you also see that Fabio said when Saul came into the chat, said, "Hi, baby." Did you see that thing on Twitter? We talked about
Loved
this.
it.
That
You did.
Saul texted me, "Hey, baby," and yeah, that was it.
Okay, but what'd you text him back?
I said, "Hey, sexy," just to give him shit because he was sitting right next to me, and I knew exactly what he did, so I might as well give him crap. And then he decided to air our personal laundry on Twitter, which was fun.
Yeah, well, I mean, that sounds
Can't wait
right.
to have you here at post game, Saul.
All right, Espo, before we sign off, any final thoughts?
It's Suns versus Orlando. Enjoy your Saturday night.
All right, well, thank you guys all for tuning in to the pregame show.
I do have one more thought. We may have a surprise T-shirt drop tonight if we have a very big audience in the post game. And this is
Ooh.
the best shirt that we have ever produced. And I am not lying
I'm
in any way.
excited.
Saul can vouch for this. Others can vouch for it. This is the best shirt in the entire network that we've dropped. You want to be here for post game, even if this is a 30-point win. You'll want to be here for post game just to see that.
Okay, so he said we have to have a big audience, so everyone make sure you come hang out with us right back here, same place after the game wraps up, and tell all your friends about it too, so that we get to see this shirt. Because I don't even know if I've seen it or not yet, and I'm excited. I'm sure you guys are as well.
I don't think you have seen it.
Okay, I'm so excited. All right, let's go. Everyone show back up right after the game. We'll see you then. Bye.
Ahoy, hoy.